Hello my dear students, in this video we are going to discuss the topic beyond the frontier. It means that we are going to discuss about the foreign relations of the Mughal emperors with the, so firstly we discuss about the Safavids and the Kandhar. Because Safavids were the ruling class in the region of Iran. Okay. So there was always a conflict between the Safavids and the Mughal emperor over the region of Kandahar and the Kabul, both these regions. Why there was a conflict? Because both these regions were like a bone of contentions between the Safavid ruler or the Iranian ruler and the Mughal emperor, because they were located at a strategic location, very important location, because both these places give the passage through the Hindu Kush mountain, which separate the Iran and the Central Asia from Afghanistan. So Iranians also want to have a control over Kandahar and Kabul region, and from here Mughal emperor also want to have a control over there. Till Afghanistan, the region was under the Mughal emperor control. Kabul was also the part from the time of Babur. While Kandahar was not the part of Mughal empire. When I was telling you regarding the Akbar time, I told you that previously the capital of Akbar was at Agra, then he shifted to Fatehpur Sikri. Then I told you during 1585, he shifted his capital to northwest frontier. Why he shifted his capital? To have a control over the Kandahar. And in that he was successful in 1595. In 1595, Akbar conquered Kandahar. Because this is very much important, remember. Akbar was the only Mughal emperor who conquered the region of Kandahar. So when he conquered 1595, but Kandahar don't remain within the control of Mughal emperor so long. Because after Akbar, during the time of Jahangir, it has been told to us that Jahangir in 1613 sent his diplomatic embassy to the Safavid ruler, to the ruler of Iran, to have a friendly relation, because Mughal emperor Akbar had taken Kandahar from the Safavids. And that's why there was a kind of a tension between the two empires. So Jahangir wanted to have a friendship relation with the Safavid. That's why he sent his diplomatic embassy in the court. But the matter was not sought out at that time. And finally, it has been told to us in 1622, Kandahar again goes under the control of the Safavid empire. They reconquered it. Okay. So here we discuss about the relation of Mughal emperor with the Safavid ruler or the ruler of Iran. Okay. There was a kind of a controversy for the Kandahar between the two emperors, because Kandahar worked as a bone of contention between the two because of its strategic importance. Because it was as an important trade route. Whenever anyone want to enter the Indian subcontinent from Central Asia or Iran, they have to pass through this region. So this region is of very much importance, and only one Mughal emperor was able to capture it, that was the Akbar in 1595, and it was again goes out of the control of Mughals in 1622. Okay, this is about the relation of Mughal emperor with the Safavid. Now beta, we study the relation of Mughal emperor with another contemporary empire, that was the Ottoman Empire. With Ottoman Empire, Mughal emperors had a good relation. Why? Because Ottoman emperor had a control over the Arabian Peninsula. This is the region of the Arabian Peninsula. Here is the Red Sea, this is Persian Gulf, and this is India. From here the Indians have to come here. Why they were having a good relation? Because Arabian Peninsula was a very important place for the Indian Muslims, because their pilgrimage center, that is Makkah and Medina. Here is Makkah and here is Medina. Both are located here. So Mughal emperor had a good relation with them, and the people from India keep on moving to Ottoman Empire for the purpose of pilgrimage as well as for the purpose of trade. It has been told to us that the relationship was marked by the concern to ensure the free movement of merchants for the purpose of trade as well as for the free movement of the pilgrims. Apart from this, we also came to know that Mughal emperor keep on sending the important commodities, mercantile commodities which were there in India to that of the Ottoman emperor. बहुत सारे गिफ्ट्स भेजा करते थे, important things to the Ottoman emperor. Apart from that, the Mughal emperor also sent so much charity to the Arabian Peninsula for the poor and the needy person. But during the time of Aurangzeb found that there was a certain kind of corruption in that sending. Whenever the emperor sent the charitable things to the place, the persons who were the official who were in charge of this, they did the corruption, and the full charity don't reach there. When Aurangzeb came to know regarding this, he stopped the giving of the charity to Arabia. Instead of that, he preferred to distribute the charity in his own empire, that is India. So this is regarding the relation of the Ottoman Empire and the Mughal emperor. They were having a good relation. People goes for the purpose of pilgrimage and the trade. Okay. We also came to know that this is the region of Hijaz. Here the people, the pilgrimage keep on coming for the purpose. At Hijaz region there is Makkah and Medina. So the people came here for the purpose of pilgrimage. And this is Mocha. Mocha, today's name is the Yemen. And the Aden. Aden is the port where the charitable goods reach, or the people from India, merchant from India came for the purpose of trade on both these ports. So these ports have a important, has a mercantile importance. Okay, trade, good trade importance. So this is about the relation between these. Now beta we discuss the last, that is the Juicist at Mughal court. Juicist means beta the people who follow the people of the Jesus, Christian. So here we discuss about the relationship between the Christianity and the Mughal Empire. We have been told that you know about the religious tolerance policy of the Akbar. We have been told that Akbar was so much curious to know about the Christianity. That's why he sent his envoy to Goa, where the Jewish missionaries were there, and he invited them to his court at Fatehpur Sikri. You know, at Fatehpur Sikri there was Ibadat Khana was constructed by the Akbar, where he had a religious discussion. And religious discussion, in that the people of 4 religions mainly participated. Who were those? Muslim, Hindu, Jesus and Zoroastrian. These 4 religious people, scholars participated in the discussion. So we know that before going to this, I want to tell you that how they came in contact with the Jesus missionaries. The first Jesus missionary came to India in the 15th century. You know that in 1498, Vasco da Gama, who were the Portuguese, came to India, and after that, after the coming of the Vasco da Gama, Jesus missionary keep on coming to India, mainly at the port of Goa. At Goa, okay. So firstly, the Akbar was because he was so much curious to know about the Christianity religion. That's why he invited the Jesus missionary, mainly the Montserrat, the name of the person. Two persons were there who were invited to have a discussion regarding the religion at Ibadat Khana. The names are as follows. These two are very much important. These names are also asked in the competitive exam. Who were the Jesus persons who came to Ibadat Khana for the religious discussion? So Montserrat, and another one was Rudolph Aquaviva. Okay, these two were invited. Apart from that, Montserrat also told that Akbar paid so much respect to both the padris, and apart from that, Akbar was so much curious to know about their religion, and he was so much tolerant towards other religion that in his court even the worship of the light was there. That was a part of, remember, Zoroastrian region. Zoroastrians were those who did the worship of the sun and the light. Okay, so all these things we discussed. One more thing, beta, I want to tell you regarding one of the important painting giving in your book. That is this one. In this painting, this is Jahangir, and another one is the Iranian ruler named as the Shah Abbas. Shah Abbas and Jahangir is there. This painting is not a real painting. It's not a real painting means this do not show a real incident. Both the ruler never met, but the painting was the dream, show the dream of Jahangir. Jahangir had a dream to have a good relation with the Safavid Empire. And when he told regarding his dream to one of the painter in his court, the name of the painter was Bishan Das. Not the Bishan Das, Abdul Hassan. Abdul Hassan, then he painted this image. Okay. And Jahangir, in the court of Jahangir, there were three important painters, remember. One was the Abdul Hassan, second was the Bishan Das. Both these made the portrait, means human figure. Another one was there, that was the Mansoor. Mansoor was the man who was very much expert in making the natural thing like trees and a mountain, all these things. Okay, so these things are also very much important. These are the minute things which are given in your book, but take a note of this because these questions are asked in various competitive exams like that of the IAS exam. Because whenever you read the chapter, you don't pay attention toward these small details given. And these are the very much important things which are asked in those from your NCERT book. Thank you.